I am, like many members of Congress right now, I am in my office. We followed the instruction of Capitol Police when things started to get a little bit dicey over at the Capitol. I was over in the Capitol for the start of the joint session of Congress today, and then came back to my office in between. They had asked members of Congress who were not speaking during that first objection to head back to their offices because of COVID protocols. So members of the House, basically vacated the premises and went back to their offices, and then obviously things escalated. So you can probably hear some of the noise even outside of my office, but we're safe. My staff and I are hunkered down for the time being, and I'm just grateful for law enforcement doing their jobs today.
Give us some context of where your office is in relation to the Capitol.
Yeah, so I can basically stick my head out my window here and look straight over at the Capitol complex. I'm in the Longworth office building, which I have an ability to get to the Capitol through a tunnel system, but I can easily just walk out the front door onto the Capitol complex as well. So it's very close. I can look out and see where the protesters are standing right now. And so it's not lost on me what's happening very close to where I am.
And with your proximity to the Capitol, are you locked down? Are they telling you not to leave? What information are you getting?
At this point, we are following the advice of Capitol Police. We're hunkered down in our offices until we can know that everything is safe to come out and resume the business that we were obviously undertaking to move forward with the process of the electors today. And so I don't know how long it's going to be, but at this point, we have to make sure that everybody is safe and that the Capitol complex is safe to return to as well.
Obviously the whole world is watching this unfold live on multiple outlets, multiple screens. And I'm sure you yourself have seen people storming the Capitol, standing in the Senate, where laws are made. This is just unbelievable. And it's not even a big enough word for it. What consequences do you feel that those who have committed these acts, what consequences should they face?
Well, I think the first thing we need to be doing is having a serious conversation about how this happened. I thank the brave men and women who are out there protecting our Capitol, but people were able to get by and get in the building. And I think that's a legitimate concern, not just for today, but going forward. So I think there will be a legitimate conversation about security, not only at the Capitol complex, but in our buildings as well, so that we can make sure that everybody does stay safe. As far as consequences, I think many of these people here today came with the idea that they were going to peacefully protest and just wanted their voices to be heard, and I'm 100% in favor of that. But if they broke the laws, they need to face consequences for that. Unfortunately, some people have been hurt in this process, and I'm praying for them, and I hope everything turns out okay. But it's a challenging time for our country, and we need to move things forward. But we need to be safe, and we need to respect this process as it plays out.
Congresswoman Hinson, the people who marched to the Capitol and those who did breach the Capitol and did become violent likely heard the president's words today urging them to go to the Capitol. What consequences, if any, should the president face?
Well, I think that what I would first say is that violence is never the answer, and people who wanted to come to the Capitol wanted their voices to be heard, and I think that was the intent behind the march today on the Capitol. And I think that's shown through history that voices can be heard by protesting peacefully. So I think that is what we need to be focused on, and I think, again, that the majority of the people who came to the Capitol today were not wanting to fight. They were just wanting to express their opinion that they support President Trump. I supported President Trump in this election cycle as well. I've stood on a stage with him personally within the last few months. And so I think it's a very emotional time for so many. And I just hope we can really come together and heal. And it has been a very challenging day for our country, and it's going to be a challenging few days for our country. But I'm ready to get to work for Iowa's 1st District. We had a delegation meeting yesterday over Zoom, so we're coming together and we're trying to do the best thing to move this country forward. And that's what I would just ask everybody watching to do as well.
We have never seen anything like this, and there have been protests in this country since before it was a country. Many have pointed to the fact that the rhetoric from this president, whom you support, inspired some of this behavior. Do you feel he is not culpable at all?
Well, I think violence is never the answer. And so what I have told people, and I put out a tweet today just saying the same thing. I don't speak for the president. I speak for myself. And when I look at what I'm putting out in the message I'm trying to lead on, it's that violence is not the answer and that all voices should be heard. That's how I've always operated. And so that's how I will continue to operate.
Is this a coup?
I think some people probably think it is, but what I can tell you is that the process is laid out very clearly in our Constitution. That's what I am abiding by, and that's what all the lawmakers here are doing. We all took an oath just a few days ago to respect, defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And so that's what I will continue to do. This process needs to play out, and people need to respect that this process needs to play out. And violence is not the answer in accomplishing any of these goals.
Have you heard anything that you can share about the possibility of the government having to take extreme measures to ensure that the government does keep moving forward if indeed these protesters are successful in their coup attempt?
We haven't had those discussions at this point. I think our immediate focus right now is just on making sure that everybody is safe. Obviously, there have been some people who've been injured. I want to make sure that we get those people the medical attention that they need. I think everybody's probably a little bit jarred by what's happened in the last few hours. So I think, number one, we need to make sure that we can return the process that we were undertaking in a peaceful manner. We need to clear the Capitol, make sure it's safe for all of us to return, and then we need to get back to business. But I do think that going forward, we do need to be conscious of the fact that this is a very real possibility on many people's minds. It's not lost on me that it's a very uneasy time for our country as well. So I will continue to do my job. I'm confident we can get to a place where it will be safe for us to do that.
You're speaking to me today because you feel it is important to let people know what is going on, not just through a tweet or through a message, but really looking into a lens and talking directly to me and directly to the people.
Yep.
As of this recording, we have not seen that from President Trump. What if he sought your counsel? Would you say to him in this moment?
Yeah. I would say, Mr. President, lead the nation right now. We need it. We need people to respect this process as it plays out. You can disagree. I know many people are upset. I'm upset with how this election turned out as well. I wanted a President Trump for 4 more years, but I think we need him to lead right now. Our nation's broken, and we need to move forward, and that's what I would ask of the president.
You did break with the president in your intention to support the Electoral College win for Joe Biden. You have been a supporter of the president largely outside of that decision. If we had a different president right now, would today have happened?
Well, I can't speak to that. What I can speak to is what my job is here today. And my job is, according to the Constitution, to go through and we count the electors, and then we certify the election. And that's what my job is as a new member of Congress, and I'm going to do my job.